All right, that's right. We're back. That's right, championship rounds. I said that's right twice. Disregard. Championship rounds. This is episode 36. Yeah, 36 Mafia in the building. Not really, but it'd be cool if they were. But welcome back. And it's been a while since I've done an MMA show. I mean, this is my passion. I mean, I love football. Played football for a long time throughout my life. But I love combat sports, and I'm a true combat sports, fight fan junkie, however you want to characterize it. But yeah, we're back to discuss the stacked UFC 267 card. And yeah, I will be back to discuss the 268 card as well with some guests. That's also stacked. So be on the lookout for that one coming. And I've been wanting to have a couple of my buddies on that I play the game with. So they're going to be on here for that show. But let's go ahead and pull it back a little bit because we're here for UFC 267 and I'm pumped for this fight card. Yeah, the UFC let out a few duds in fight nights. Didn't really rev the engines. Didn't move the needle. This fight and the one following will do just that, alright? So before I get started here, I just want to say, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. As any creator would tell you, that's what turns the wheels around here. So I appreciate you guys that do that. And as always, you guys are the real MVPs, plural. Alright. So, yeah, before I take off officially, I just want to say normally I'm such a fight junkie that I would break down the entire card, meaning the noteworthy names at the end, as well as the names at the beginning that only hardcores will be familiar with. Well, to cut down on time as far as the show goes and editing, from now on, I'm just going to do the main card, alright? I might throw out some notable fighters that might be seen on the undercard, you know, the preliminary bouts, if you will. But I'm just focusing on the main card. So I got 6 fights here for you today, and all of them have storyline behind them. So just give me 1 second, and I'll definitely kick off, if you will. And there won't be any illegal procedure. Yeah, it's going to stay in bounds, all right? The return, touchback. So, let's go here. I know this isn't one of my NFL shows. I will be recording one of those later today. Yeah. But this is the MMA. This is the fighting. This is the fisticuffs. This is the striking. This is the jiu-jitsu. I don't have to catalog it. Fight fans know what I'm talking about, and this is definitely that. So, let's go ahead and jump into our first card, our first bout on the main card, if you will. And that fight takes place between Mr. No Time, Volkan Ozdemir, coming in at number 8 in the light heavyweight division, and he is going up against a surging hot prospect in Magomed Ankalaev. Alright, he's ranked number 7. This is number 8 versus number 7. So, obviously, this fight has some stakes to it. Alright, this is a top 10 fight. And when you're sitting at 8 or 7, a loss or two might leave you outside of the top 10. So, this fight has major implications. These guys want to move forward, not take steps back. So who do we got here? Volkan Ozdemir versus Magomed Ankalaev. Let's start with Volkan first. Volkan used to be Mr. No Time, literally. It's his moniker, yes. But he would knock guys out so fast. I've got no time. I wanted to, get my legs warm in here and get some octagon time, but I really got no time. So I got him out of here in no time. That's what happened. He knocked you out, separate you from consciousness, send you to a place where time simply does not exist. All right, that was him. But since his loss in his title match to Daniel Cormier, he's been less than no time. It seems like he's got all the time now. What the hell? A complete 180. All right, so let's see here. Volkan's coming in at 32. His last fight, he was dispatched brutally by the hot prospect Jiri Prochazka. Yeah, he's next. He's coming up in the rankings. Stop that. All right, so he's coming up next in the rankings, and it looks like Volkan did defeat Alexander Rakic by split decision, and also Ilir Latifi by KO. However, before that, he lost 3 in a row, as I meant. A split decision to Reyes, which some people think he won. He submitted Anthony Smith in round 3, and as I mentioned before, he had lost the title bout to Daniel Cormier, and that came by way of TKO in round 2. His opponent, Magomed Ankalaev, 29 years of age. He's riding hot on a 6-fight winning streak, with his only career loss coming in his UFC debut to the Bear Jew, Paul Craig. That was a round 3 submission back in 2008. The Bear Jew. If you haven't seen Inglourious Bastards and you're not sensitive, or just throw that part out. Good movie, funny, I recommend it. You know what I mean? Like Pepsi. It's a name brand. I stand by it. Watch that shit. But anyways, back to the fights. Ankalaev, let's see here. 4 of his last 6 wins, which is on, like I said, he's on a 6-fight winning streak, came by finish. One against Iwan Kutalaba, and that came in 38 seconds, and it was controversial. Kutalaba said he wasn't done. Referee felt like he made a mistake, so they ran it back just for Ankalaev to knock his damn ass out again. All right, so you didn't think I did it the first time? Bam! Let me go ahead and remove all fucking doubt. Yeah, Ankalaev got him out of there. And I think it was the first round, maybe even the second. Because, if a guy sleeps you in 38 some seconds, you're going to be like, well, I think I might need to pace myself in this rematch to show that I can actually be in this fight. And he might have did just that, but he showed that he could be in the fight longer, just not for a long time, because he still got his ass taken out. But let's see. Ankalaev, Ozdemir. All right, Ankalaev's coming in. He's 15-1, and like I said, he's on a 6-fight winning streak. Of his 16 fights, he's lost once years ago against a guy who's a shell of himself. The Switzerland guy. The Swiss, they're famous for their, obviously chocolate, but watches. And he had no time. But as I said before, lately he's had all the time, and I think he has no time in this fight, but not in a good way. I think he's taken out in no time. Look for a round 1 stoppage, favor of the hot prospect Magomed Ankalaev. I will say this: Ozdemir definitely had a war with Jiri Prochazka that he was on the wrong end of, but he definitely landed some crazy blows to Jiri. I mean, you could say Jiri was there to be hit, and that he took one to give one, and that's exactly what happened. But he still got some fire behind those hands. I just don't think it'll be enough to give Ankalaev his second ever professional defeat. Mark it down. Magomed Ankalaev victorious here, and I'm calling the damn finish. Round 1. That's right, TKO. Moving on. You got the returning, the wolf, if you will, or is he the leech? One of these guys is a wolf, one of these guys is the leech. Shame on me for not knowing the distinguishments. All right, but I'll tell you their names. That's right. The new hype train in the UFC. One of them, because there's a few now. Khamzat Chimaev. Yes, the Russian buzzsaw, if you will. He's back, finally. After damn near retiring because of complications with COVID, mixed with training, mixed with travel restrictions, he's back in the damn cage, and it's happening on Fight Fucking Island. That might play a factor, but he's back, Abu Dhabi, and he's in there against Li Jingliang. Asian fighters historically haven't fared the best in the UFC. They might pick up wins here and there, but most of them don't even get title fights. Hell, Anderson Silva, had an Asian counterpart that was the last man to defeat him, and that's the only reason why he got a title fight. And don't say Lyoto Machida. He's Brazilian, okay? Lyoto Machida is Brazilian. Just like people go, oh, well, you're counting up the African-American champions in the UFC when Anderson Silva was champion. And then they're like, Anderson Silva. And they were like, no, he's not black. He's Brazilian. He's a black man in Brazil. Okay? Just like if he was a black man in America, he would, he'd be American, but he'd still be black. Anderson's still black. And I don't know where I'm getting with this, but Lyoto Machida is Brazilian, all right? His roots might come from Asia, obviously, but he is Brazilian. I might be 100 ways incorrect on what I'm saying, but I don't care. That's what I'm saying. All right? So let's move on to the fight. Khamzat Chimaev, Li Jingliang. All right? So Chimaev's coming in 27. He's, like I said, he's the latest hype train after buzzing through his 3 opponents in the UFC. He's the odds-on favorite to win this bout. And the stakes, are even bigger now because he claims he's going to take over, the UFC. Well, his bouts, one of which was at welterweight, 2 of which were at middleweight. So he's fought in 2 different divisions. And his biggest win was when he took out, with great haste, Gerald MG3 Meerschaert. Yeah, took him out. And I say it's his biggest because Meerschaert has the most submissions in middleweight history in the UFC. Yes, look it up. Gerald Meerschaert, MG3. Yes. So, he's not currently ranked. So nearly is Chimaev. He's not currently ranked because he although MG3 might have had a number beside his name when he fought Chimaev, he no longer does. And Chimaev doesn't have a number either. But you know who has a number? Li Damn Jingliang. All right, he's coming in here at number 11, and he's got knockout power himself. Yeah, he's riding high off of a KO over Santiago Ponzinibbio. You know how hard it is to do that? That's a great fighter. I mean, it was his first fight in 3 fucking years. So take that for what it's worth. But he got him out of there, all right? So give respect to that. Another thing about Jingliang, he's coming in at 33. He holds notable KO power, like I said. He does struggle against grapplers, all right? Neil Magny, and Jake Matthews and Nordine Taleb were able to, decision him by controlling him and playing position, you know what I mean? Putting him in on his back where he could provide little to nothing offensively. So that he lost those by decision. Another guy earlier on was able to get him out of there by submission. All things that Khamzat Chimaev is capable of doing. So, not standing on ceremony. He gets it done here. And I think come Monday morning or whenever they do the rankings, there will be a damn number beside Chimaev's name. Mark it down. Because they're not trying to rest on their laurels here. They're trying to get these people with names in marquee fights today, not in a week. Alright, so look for a number to be on beside his name when he ultimately gets this victory come Saturday night on Fight Island. Alright, moving along. Got a heavyweight bout. The heavyweight bout is contested between Alexander Volkov and Marcin Tybura. Alright, Tybura's coming in number 8, Volkov number 5. Tybura is 22-6, while Volkov is 33-9. So both of these gentlemen have a ton of experience, a truckload of experience, if you will. All right, they're both very complimentary of each other. When in the press conference, Volkov praised Tybura being one of the top fighters out of the area, and that he's got great wrestling. Kind of a hint to what he thinks Tybura is going to do. Tybura was also complimentary, but also came back that he said he saw that Volkov gained some weight, so he might be trying to wrestle. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so Tybura is 35. He's on a 5-fight winning streak, but mostly over opponents with low output and questionable stamina. I'm talking about Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, Ben Rothwell, Maxim Grishin, and Sergey Spivak. You know, he wins a lot of fights off of toughness and stamina alone. I mean, the guy does have some skill. I'm not trying to take a dump on him, but his toughness is what kept him in some of those fights. You know, he thought he was still in the Derek Lewis fight because he was so tough, but Lewis was boxing his head all around. The ref didn't want to see that no more, and I didn't either. So he lost that fight, much to his dismay, but again, he is on a 5-fight winning streak. You can say what you want about the guys he defeated that I just cataloged, but they're wins inside the octagon, none the fucking less. All right, Volkov, 33, so he's 2 years, Tybura's 2 years the senior of Volkov, you know what I mean? They're both right there, around the same age. He's coming off of a unanimous decision loss to the current interim heavyweight champion, Cyril Gane. So Derek Lewis got took out. Volkov did lose the fight, but he stuck around long enough until the judges rendered the scorecards. So, you know, there's something to say for that. All right. So, he's got plenty of notable wins, but Volkov being that, but he does struggle against the guys that are capable of taking him down, knocking him down or taking him down. All right. Everybody struggles if you're getting knocked down, but the point being is that the guys that are able to get him to the canvas give him the most problems. And with Tybura coming in, I mean, this guy's like a little juggernaut. That's what he's trying to run you all the way through the mat. So he's trying to do that. He'll stand and strike with you. He'll stand and be a punching bag with you, get you tired, Homer Simpson style, you know. But he's really trying to get you to the mat where he does his best work. Does he get Volkov to the mat? I don't fucking think so. I don't think Volkov will tire to the point of all of Tybura's win streak opponents have. I think Volkov, being a former Bellator heavyweight fucking champion and fighting the names, the who's who of MMA, might I add, I think he's going to come into this fight prepared. You know, he's going to check every box. And after the fight, the box will be checked beside victory because Volkov's going to get his hand raised and show that he's ranked higher than this guy for a fucking reason. Pardon my French. All right. Volkov gets that done. Moving on. You got the Hangman. Yeah, I know he just fought a few weeks ago. The Hangman, Dan Hooker, is going in there against Islam Makhachev. Yes, the second coming of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Second coming isn't as good as the first, because Islam's already got a loss on his record. Yeah, he was starched in his second fight in the promotion, but his striking has got a lot better since then. Enough to match the striking of the City Kickboxing product and Dan Hooker? I don't think so. I think that Hooker is going to come in here with a considerable striking advantage. But that ain't what Islam is trying to do anyways. Let me set the table. Hooker's coming in 31 years of age. Like I said, he's coming off of a unanimous decision to Nasrat Haqparast, a guy that is not easy to beat. You know, that was a few weeks ago. Like I said, Hooker is a mainstay in the division, but the closest he's came to an opponent like this would have to be his win over Gilbert Durinho Burns back in 2018. That was at 155 pounds before Burns made the transition to welterweight. But that would be the closest fight to this bout on paper as far as opponent of Hooker is concerned. And like I said, he'll have the clear advantage in the striking department. His opponent, Makhachev, he's got a lot of buzz right now. And it helps when you got a guy like Khabib Nurmagomedov being your coach, hell, your brother. Yeah, he's the guy that everybody's looking at that they want to see dominate. They're waiting to see a chink in that armor. Will they Saturday night? I'll get to that. Table's not set just yet. All right. Islam, like I said, has Khabib-like smothering grappling that has been able to overwhelm his opponents thus far. I mentioned the knockout loss, back in 2015. Like I said, his striking's better now. He's 20-1. That was his only loss. Hooker's 21-10. These guys are number 6 and number 5 respectively. So look for whoever wins this one to be right there in that title picture as soon as they get that figured out between Oliveira and Poirier. These guys might be next. We don't know when Conor will be back. We don't know if he's going to go straight into a title shot. I won't be surprised, but we don't know. So these guys will be right there in that window. Who fucking wins? Dan Hooker, I love you. Great guy. I remember when you first came in, you were fighting at featherweight. You were taking boys out. You got on the mic. You said you called for some real competition. You said these lads are getting hurt in here. I remember it. I do. I'm not saying you're done. You're going to win a lot more fights, but you don't win this one. Makhachev gets you down, and that's just a different world down there. Okay, a world that city kickboxing just ain't going to prepare you for. Look what happened to Adesanya. I'll get to that too. But yeah, Islam Makhachev gets it done here and puts another victory in the win column. 21-1. That's right. Mark that down. I'm going undefeated this week. Bank on it, buddy. All right, because I'm just that fucking confident. Moving along. Co-main event. All right, you got the Sandman, Corey Sandhagen, in there against No Mercy Peter Yan. Peter Yan is the number 1 contender, obviously. Sandhagen is number 3. Sandhagen's 29. He's coming off of a close split decision to TJ Dillashaw back in July. Sandhagen has an impressive style and has defeated some names. Frankie Edgar, Marlon Moraes, Rafael Assunção, and John Lineker being the biggest names that he's defeated. But they were all relatively post-prime. I mean, think about it. Edgar, how old is he? How long has he been fighting? He's on like his 3rd weight class now? Give me a break. Marlon Moraes, all he's doing is getting beat right now. All he's been doing is getting beat right now. The magic has dissipated. Okay, get a new moniker, Marlon. The magic has dried up. Rafael Assunção, another long-in-the-tooth fighter. This guy was fighting all the way back when they still had the WEC going. So how long ago was that? Some of you guys you only know about the WEC when they mention it on the broadcast. That's how long ago that was. It's not that long ago, but long enough, meaningfully long enough. And John Lineker, who's no longer in the fucking promotion. But he's doing some nice things outside of promotion. I'll give him that. But he's no longer with us as far as the promotion of the UFC is concerned. So, like I said, they were all relatively post-prime. He did lose to Sterling in just 88 seconds. And his latest loss has you wondering, can he win the big ones? Because I'm not going to put those post-prime guys. Yeah, they're a big fight. Every fight's a big fight. But the big fights, you know what I mean? Put some panache on it. The big fights. Does he win those? Thus far, he has not. So, I don't know where he's going to go from here. But I'll get back to that. I am going to reference the John Lineker fight because he won that fight by a split decision. John Lineker is notable to have heavy fucking hands. He'll back you up. And I think in that fight, Sandhagen felt that power and thought he would just, move and touch after that. Move and touch, which led to a close fight, obviously, that he was lucky enough, to get the victory. Because you don't know how those scorecards are going to go, especially at this point. But, yeah, keep noting that. John Lineker, power. You know who else has power? No Mercy, Peter Yan. 28 years of age, 1 year younger than Sandhagen. Coming off of being disqualified for kneeing Aljamain Sterling in the fucking face. I mean, you could say Aljamain won an award that night for the performance he put on acting-wise. It is what it is. He's the one that threw the damn knee. You know what I mean? What do you think you're fighting M1 still? Pride? One? Risen? No. This is the UFC. You've been here for a while. Act like it. So, a lot of people say that he should have been the champ. He should still be the champ. And be that as it may, he's not. Okay, but this is for the interim UFC Bantamweight Championship. So he's got a chance here to put a belt back around his waist. Not the one he wants, but a belt nonetheless. Guaranteeing a unification bout with Aljamain Sterling. So, let's see here. You know, he was undefeated in the promotion before he got disqualified. But most of his wins are against post-prime guys too. So they both fought a bunch of post-prime guys. Aldo, Faber, Jimmy Rivera, John Dodson. You know what I mean? All these guys are past their prime. And the ones that are still fighting are just hanging on. Shout out to Jose, you're my boy. But let's reference that Aldo fight. Aldo was winning the first round and a half by volume alone. But I think he was doing too much. And Peter caught stride and started putting it on him, tossing him around the fucking cage like a damn ragdoll. So, yeah, he was on his way to victory before the disqualification, but based on volume, the first round and a half had to go to Sterling. Just based on volume. Who's got volume? Corey Sandhagen's got volume. And I don't think he'll blow his wad in the fucking first round and a half like Aljamain Sterling did. I think he's long. But after seeing Aljamain Sterling go in there and take Sandhagen to the ground and snatch his neck in just 88 fucking seconds, there's no fucking way I'm picking Sandhagen. He's in the fight. Live dog. Live dog. But I don't feel comfortable picking. You got to show me something, son. And I just think Petr Yan is, other than that lapse in judgment, I think he's a relatively smart fighter. And I think he's got the ability to take Corey Sandhagen to the ground. Hell, watch his fights. He's got grappling, sambo. But he's also got those fucking hands. This is tough because the body of work that both of these gentlemen have put together, you know, it's like, wow. But before I make my pick, you know, I'm saying wow because all the guys they beat are older guys that are done, guys that have been getting beat over and over. So how do you really measure that? They get in there and win fights they should? I mean, they've both done that. So let me give you one more little small nugget on this. Okay? Fighters that get a title shot after a loss. Sandhagen's getting this title shot after losing to TJ Dillashaw. I don't care what you say. Oh, he won. He got screwed. Nah, well, 5 years, 1 year, 1 day from now, you can go look that up, and there's an L beside his name. And nothing neither one of us could do about it. He lost. So he's a fighter getting a title shot after a loss. It hasn't gone too well for fighters getting title shots after loss. Ask Holly Holm. Ask Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Ask Jose Aldo. Ask Nick Diaz. Ask Joel Romero. Ask Chael Sonnen. You know what I mean? There's a list. Believe me, there is a list. They don't do too well. You know, of fighters that have won titles after a loss, you got to go back to Miesha Tate. You know what I mean? You got to go back to her. Because she lost to, who was it? Kat Zingano, I believe. And then stepped in to replace her to fight Holly Holm. Ended up beating Holly Holm. Yeah, she won. But you know how crazy women's MMA is. I mean, that belt was getting tossed around like a hot potato before Amanda was able to get a hold of it. And other than that, like, you got to go back to Tito and Randy Couture. Couture would lose at light heavyweight. He'd win the heavyweight. He'd lose the heavyweight. He'd come down and win the light heavyweight. And in Tito's case, he would lose a fight to Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock left the promotion. Then he gets a title shot, beats the jabron that they put in there with him. You know, shit like that. The sport was different. But yeah, definitely recently, you know what I mean, in the recent past, fighters getting title shots after loss losses doesn't fare well for him. And it won't fare well for Corey Sandhagen come Saturday night. Peter Yan's getting this done. He's getting the belt back on his waist. He's setting up the champion versus champion fight against Aljamain Sterling. The fight everybody wants to see. All right. Moving on to the main event. We're almost done here. You got Glover Teixeira, the number one contender. He's fighting the champ, Jan Blachowicz. Glover's in there 32-7. Blachowicz is 28-8. Both complimentary of each other. Glover said that he's going to take Jan down either with his hands or with his grappling. He better. You know, I've seen how dicey it can get in there when he's not able to impose his will. All right. Which is crazy because Glover used to have, you know, he came out of the same gym as Chuck Liddell, you know. Well, his coach, his coach he came in with, the same guy that coached Chuck Liddell in St. Louis Obispo. But Teixeira had, you know, visa issues, couldn't get into the country, but he was one of the scariest guys coming up. He was in his actual prime years and years ago. And eventually came into the UFC, beat the likes of Rampage Jackson, knocked out Ryan Bader disgustingly. Like, that's just a couple that I'm going to name to you. And obviously got the title shot against John Jones and fell short, like everybody else did. And then you got Jan Blachowicz, who definitely beat, you know, Dominic Reyes, knocked him out to win the belt. Then his most recent outing, he defeated Israel Adesanya to retain the belt. He's getting a lot of buzz right now. He's getting a lot of buzz. Let me set the table, so to speak. Teixeira coming in at 42 years of age. He's on a 5-fight winning streak with 4 of his last fights coming by finish. You know, after being beaten soundly by Corey Overtime Anderson, deep into his career, he's been able to, you know, drag his opponents, his adversaries, if you will, to the canvas and finish them with either his hands or by submission. You know, heavy strikers that have been able to thwart off Glover's takedowns have been able to get him out of there. You know what I mean? Like a Anthony Rumble Johnson or a Alexander Gustafsson. These are not walks in the park. You know what I mean? Because Glover fights the best. You know, he took out, you know, and beat Thiago Santos. You know what I mean? Another guy that gave John Jones a good fight. Another guy that has knocked out several opponents. So Glover, who was once known for his hands, you know, he wanted to be like Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Now he's more known for his grappling and his submissions. You know, he's got layers. It's like a NBA player who comes into the league dunking on everybody. He gets older, the knees get a little ricketier, and he decides to develop a jump shot. This is no different. It's called career longevity, and the players have to find a second act, regardless of what sport you are, to extend that playing field, because it's a young man's game, a young man's sport. Blachowicz is 38. So he's 4 years younger than Teixeira. He's no spring chicken either. Is he a flash in the pan? He's coming off of his first title defense, as I mentioned. He's resurrected his career with his latest wins and has been able to become champion after the departure of John Jones. Has he peaked? And if so, does he have enough left to defeat a 42-year-old Teixeira? Well, Jacare Souza came up from middleweight and damn near beat this guy. Split decision loss to Jacare Souza. He's just as old as fucking Teixeira, and he can get a split decision against Jan Blachowicz, a legendary Polish power. Couldn't take out Jacare's old ass. Kevin Holland took out Jacare, but you couldn't. Keep that in mind. So, what else do I got here? Like I said, he TKO'd Reyes. He TKO'd Corey Anderson in the rematch because the first fight, Anderson took him down and beat the brakes off of him. He had knots all over his head. Blachowicz did. So, and then he knocked him out in the second one. Respect to that, you know what I mean? Nobody knows how that fight would have went. Corey Anderson has been looking tremendous lately. If that fight would have continued going, who knows how it would have went. We saw how the first one went. Sucks they can't run it back. One's in Bellator. One's still in the UFC, but that happened. He also knocked out Luke Rockhold, who is a name, but everybody knows he's Chinny. Isn't that what Gustafsson said? He's Chinny. I think he hit the nail on the head. You know what I mean? With a ball-peen hammer. So, let's see here. However, he has been KO'd and grappled to decision losses in the past. So, he's got 8 losses on his record. That tells me right there he's beatable. You know? Teixeira, 7 losses. Also beatable. Who do I pick here? You know, everybody's like, well, Teixeira, he tries to get you down nowadays and TKO you or submit you. You know what I mean? We saw, didn't you just see what Jan did to Israel Adesanya? Yeah, it's a guy coming up from middleweight who didn't really put on the requisite pounds to match the size with Blachowicz. He had a clear size advantage. Yeah, he landed some strikes. Definitely, he's a good striker. But he took him down and was able to keep him down. He was a man that clearly outsized the other man. Respect to him though. Won the fight, defended his belt, and that's a lot more than I can say for a lot of champs. But he definitely defended. Man. Like I said, I think he might still have enough in the tank to throw off Glover Teixeira's takedown. You know, his takedowns. And he does have power. Legendary Polish power, he says. This is a tough one. A tough one to pick. My heart is with Teixeira. Boy, it would be great if he could push through and get realize a UFC championship at 42 fucking years of age. Dan Henderson got robbed. I think he beat Bisping. Love you, Bisping. But I think Dan got robbed. He should have rode off into the sunset with golden diamonds. Teixeira. This is his last hurrah. If he loses this fight, like what? Does he retire? How does he get another title shot? Does he stick around and try to earn another one? Everybody's on the train of Blachowicz. They're even saying that this next title defense is a fight that he should win. 7 defeats.
Wish you all the best. There he is, the champ, Jan Blachowicz.
Man, 42 years of age versus 38 years of age. This ain't heavyweight. Close to it, but it ain't heavyweight. I'm torn, man. My heart is with Teixeira. My mind is telling me Blachowicz is going to put hands on him. At 42 years of age, you know, will Blachowicz knock Teixeira out with the same uppercut that Rumble Johnson and Gustafsson were able to? You know? And for what it's worth, Teixeira's 5-fight winning streak, whatever it is, he was beaten soundly by Corey Anderson, a guy that got knocked out by Blachowicz. But he also got beat soundly by Corey Anderson too. It was just a while, you know. Make a pick, Marcel. Fuck. And I said I'm going undefeated. You know what? Fuck it. Going with Glover damn Teixeira. Unanimous decision. And I think he does become UFC champion. And he does what Dan Anderson should have done. So yeah, if you want to leave that one off the parlay, completely understand. But I'm going with Glover Teixeira. Alright guys. That's my show. Again, thanks for watching. And enjoy the fights. Like always, until next time, stay frosty.
This is life. The only way I can tell you how it is. Live your life. They telling me you only get one of them. Can't do it twice. Nobody told me that they ever did. What's your price? I used to think Bishop. Oh no, that's the wrong movie. Govern myself, you can't rule me. $10 an hour, I can't get rich. $15 an hour, I can't get rich. $20 an hour, I can't get rich. But maybe I can if I flip bricks, and that's gonna be a high risk. A chance of missing out on my kids, a chance of catching another bid. I guess I can stick with the mid, or kick in the door like big, waving 4-4s at your kids with the scope on your ribs. Show me where the money at and you can live, or else you is dead. They ask me, do I stress? Yes, cause I gotta wear a vest, cause they aiming at my neck, cause they heard I got a check. So you know I gotta flex. They run their mouth like some chicks.